Hello and welcome to the free H1B Do-It-Yourself guide brought to you by the American Visa Law Group. My name is Hassan Abdullah and I'm the managing attorney of the American Visa Law Group, and I'm preparing this video just to give you an overview of how an H1B petition is prepared. I do not recommend that people actually prepare their own H1B. However, in this video we are going to show you the documentation that's normally submitted, and we're going to provide you also with a cover letter. If you visit our website, if you click the link below, you can actually go to our site and download the cover letter to use as a template. Again, this is for informational purposes only, and no attorney-client relationship is established based on the information provided in this video. However, it is basically going to show you what you need when you file an H-1B petition. So before actually going into some of the material that you're going to be using when you file the H-1B petition, some overview information is necessary. You need to understand, first of all, what an H-1B is. And an H-1B is simply a work visa, which is to sponsor somebody to work in the United States for a company in a specialty occupation. And a specialty occupation is a job that requires a bachelor's degree for the job. So a very classic example is a software developer. And how do we know that? We know that because, as you can see on the screen, we look at the Occupational Outlook Handbook, and there's a tab for, in the software developer profile, there's a tab for how to become one. So you click that tab, and you find that the text here, which is what USCIS refers to, shows that software developers usually have a bachelor's degree in computer science and strong computer programming skills. So this can easily be considered a specialty occupation because this government publication from the Department of Labor says that a bachelor's degree in computer science is the minimum required, is a typical minimum requirement. So it's a bachelor's degree in a specialty field, computer science. So that gives us confidence that USCIS will accept this as a specialty occupation. The next thing we need to do is determine what the occupational code is. So software developer. And you can see this is applications software. 151132. Next thing you need to do is check what the prevailing wage is. So you can go search wizard on the OFLC data center, and when you go here, let's just say you're going to be in California working in Alameda County. You look at software developer applications and you search, and you find that the minimum wage for this particular occupation is $80,870. So if you're an employer, you have to make sure that this is the wage that you select. So now, without further delay, let's look at some of the material that we need if we're going to file an H-1B petition. So what I will share with you is a template, a cover letter, that you can download, as I mentioned, if you click the link below. So first of all, you need to determine where you're going to mail this application. And so we're not going to go into that. However, if you go on USCIS's website, you can click I-129, Petition for Non-Immigrant Worker, and where to file. And there's a very detailed list of addresses where you can file the application. So it just depends where the worker is located, basically, as to whether you're going to file this in California Service Center or the Vermont Service Center. So we're making the assumption this is going to Laguna Niguel, California Service Center. Now, in this templated letter, you can list the petitioner, who is the company, which is the company sponsoring the worker, the beneficiary, and if there are children or spouse, or there's a spouse, you can list the spouse and children as well. So continuing on in the cover letter, there's a G28 form. So G28 is a notice of representation that you will include as Exhibit 1 in your application. And this G28 is not required if you do not have an attorney representing you. This is a form filled out by the law firm that assists you, and you'll sign it. And the attorney will sign it as well. Then there's a form I-129. So this is form I-129. We can open that and show you what it looks like. This form needs to be filled out. And basically, We have a questionnaire that we have people fill out, but it's basic biographic information. The address of the company will be listed here, contact information. And if you're going to be filing an H1B, the classification you write is H1B, and you click New Employment if this is a new petition. And we're assuming we're doing a cap case, which is a new petition, so you can write none. And again, we're not going to go through every single page on the I-129, but whatever sections you need to fill out for H1B need to be filled out. This entire form is 36 pages, but the H1B sections, it's not the entire form. It is page 1 to page 7, and then you can skip, well, actually page 8 if there's supplementary details that you need to provide, and you can then scroll past that to the H classification supplement, which is page 13 and 14, and then you can skip down to the data collection supplement, which is page 19, 20. 19, 20, and 21 need to be filled out. So again, there's only so much time on a video to really go through the entire application form, so we're just going to go through the documents as I said. There's something called a labor condition application too. You have to, it's called a labor condition application. It's filed on iCert. So what you need to do is create an iCert account. And you go on iCert, which is icert.doleta.gov. And if you don't have an account, you need to click here to create an account. And when you create an account, you will provide details about your company, and then you will have a iCert account established, and you'll have to file your LCA. Now, if you've never filed an LCA before, you need to also send a verification email to the Department of Labor, which will include the company's tax ID proof, which would be a document provided by the IRS generally that has the company's tax ID number. So let's go back to the form, the cover letter. Now, there's a LCA that needs to be filled out, as I mentioned, and that would be Exhibit 3. Next, we have a support letter. So we do have a template support letter in our template documents, and as you can see, there's quite a list of template documents, and most of these are not used in any H1B petition, but there are a few that are used. The support letter is actually kept in our main folder, so you can open support letter, and basically you would fill out the details of the company here. You're going to want to tell who the petitioner is. You're going to want a description of the job. You're going to also want to say why it qualifies as a specialty occupation by explaining what the Occupation Outlook Handbook says about the position. You can also then explain why the petitioner is qualified to actually sponsor the job because it's in the right industry. You can also fill in details of why the beneficiary is qualified because of the qualifications such as their degree and their education. And then you list the terms of employment such as the wage, and that's basically what you would fill out, and a conclusion as to why this qualifies for H1B. So that's the support letter. Normally we also want to submit an employment contract. We do have a template document for that, and there's also a company profile, so you generally go to the company's website, and if there's any pamphlets and promotional material, you can provide those as well. And you can also provide financial documents. In fact, you should, and that would include tax returns or quarterly wage reports. If you're a small company, you can even submit your W-2s. And then next is an itinerary of services. So this is for consulting companies. If you're going to place the worker at various locations, you'll also include an itinerary. So just to show you what that looks like, we have template documents, and there is an itinerary of service in here, and basically it will outline what the project is, the duration of the project, and the work location. Next is miscellaneous proof of doing business. So you can include a tax ID document, a lease agreement, and photos of the business premises if you have the person working at your physical office space, which is the case for the majority of cases as long as it's not a consulting job. Next, you want to have evidence showing that the beneficiary has the required qualifications. So that would be the resume. If there's a license required for the job, you would provide a license and experience letters. And of course, you also want to provide the beneficiary's degree and transcripts. And also, if the beneficiary is in the United States, you're going to want to include the notice of action of their most recent status in the United States, the I-797. You're going to also want to include copies of their passport and I-94. And if they're here on a student visa, you'll include a copy of their I-20 and their recent EAD. And if they're in a status that requires them to maintain employment, you would provide the 3 most recent pay stubs. And also for family members, you would include an I-539, and you would include proof of their status, which is an I-94, their passport, their past I-797 approval notice, and to show the family relation, you'd show either a marriage certificate for a spouse or a birth certificate for children. So this is basically what you need when you file an H-1B petition, and this is just the most basic application. There are a lot of complications that can exist in H-1Bs, but this gives you a basic idea of how to prepare basically a skeletal case for an H-1B, bare bones case that you can file with USCIS, and that's pretty much the set of documents you need. Now, again, I will say this with a lot of caution. This is just for informational purposes only. And what I will share with you is, of course, the listener of this video, you can get access to our cover letter template, and you can basically make use of it. However, again, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you retain professional assistance in preparing your H-1B petition. So with that, I want to thank you for listening to this guide, and hopefully it's of some benefit to you. And that's it for me for now, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.